Are you a real estate investor and are anxious about putting out offers because you feel like you're not gonna, be able to grow and get these offers accepted and grow your portfolio? Is that what you're struggling with? Man, in this video, I'm gonna show you exactly why it's important to get out of that mindset. It's a mental block that you have to get you out there, okay? So if you kind of like this content, or really love this content, make sure to like and subscribe. My name is Luis Torres. I'm a real estate broker here in the western suburbs of Chicagoland, but I'm also here to help you, find some mental, clarity when it comes to this. I'm the deal finder, and even to help you find deals, I can only do so much, right, as a real estate agent to help you get the deals. You also have to do, because you're the one that is the investor, you're the one that's going to make the yes or no decisions, and you're the one that's going to write the check, is to, avoid those mental blocks, okay? I was mentioning this in one of my previous videos, is that, hey, there are deals out there to be had, and I was saying how even if property is asking for too much money, let's just say, in your opinion, it doesn't matter what they're asking for. Don't get into the mindset of, well, I think they're going to get offended, or I think they're going to get upset. I'm going to show you here real quick here in this video about how to get around that and just think like a business owner, okay? And that's really what it is. We're just business owners. I myself, as a real estate agent here with, OnPath Realty, 630-777-4597 is my number. I am in the business. I'm in the self-employed business, right? And I understand that I have to get out there and find business. I didn't wake up one day and say, I want to be a realtor so that I can be fed listings, I can be fed customers. No, I said, you know what? I have to get out there and work for it. Get out there and reach for what is mine, with the clients and whatnot, okay? So in the same way here, you yourself as an investor, even though you might have a full-time job, you're still in the self-employed business in this regard too, okay? And you got to think like a business owner. And so, yes, you can rely on me and call upon me to be that deal finder for you. And of course, in your course of your daily commute, you might come across a property that could be a deal, right? I'll find out if that deal is for you or not, right? But at the same time, you got to get into that mindset of, hey, let me put an offer together. That's the point I'm getting at, is if you're afraid of writing an offer because you feel that they're not going to accept it, or you feel like you're going to offend somebody, or you're limited mentally to write an offer that's aggressive enough to win the deal, then you might just not be ready to be a real estate investor. I tell my clients this all the time. I said, the price is what it is, right? And you're thinking down the road, like 2, 3, 4, 5 months down the road. At this point, right, when we're out here making deals, we're playing a different ball game. Okay, number one, right? Is understand that as an investor, you're playing a different ball game. You're playing the role of hey, I gotta win this deal, okay? First you win the deal, and then you get yourself out there, okay? The same thing applies even in sports. I'm thinking about basketball and even baseball. I know baseball just started, but in basketball, right now, folks like my Chicago Bulls, they're being eliminated, right, from contention. Why? Because, they're not that great. But, I mean, when it comes to basketball, okay, there it is, nice little image of a basket. Listen, they have to contend. Their first rule of business is to get into the playoffs. Once in the playoffs, then that's a different ballgame. Now you deal with the team that's in front of you. So when you're writing out offers as an investor, you have to first get into the mindset of winning the deal, okay? But in order to win the deal, you have to be willing to write offers, okay? If you're not writing offers, and if you're not out there like doing this kind of work, then what are you doing, right? Okay, so writing offers is similar to what I would say being in a call center, okay? Again, I said this, right? I said I am a self-employed individual, right? And I know that I got to get out there and make calls or get out there and do network marketing or whatever the case in order for me to get business. When I first started my real estate business, I started making call after call after call. I was known as a cold caller, right? And that's fine with me. I just showed up because I knew that the business wasn't going to come to me. So in the same way, you investor, right? You understand that in order for you to get business, you also have to throw out offers. If you don't throw out offers and make your intentions known that you want to get this property, no one's going to just force you to buy, right? You have to get out there and do it. But the thing is, again, if you're timid about writing offers, have no fear. Lewis is here. The deal finder is here, right? I can get out there and write the contract for you, and I can be out there as your protective shield, and any negative blowback that comes from the perceived offense, I could, tolerate that for you. So again, make sure that you are writing these offers. Don't be limited to this. So I liken writing offers in my business, right, to get out there and do this as writing offers, right? I don't get business if I don't make the calls. I don't get business if I don't ask people for the business. And so in the same way, investor, you don't get properties unless you actually ask for the property. In other words, write the offer. One of my previous videos, you can find it here on my channel, but there was a property that was listed for $285, okay? And I ran the numbers live on the camera, right? And then I said, you know what, this doesn't make sense as a deal. But I said, if you buy it at, let's say, $240, $230, $220, that might make sense. But that's where I said, hey, in order for you to make this a deal, you have to be willing to write that offer of $220. This is where you're tested, right? Because now you're gonna think, I don't really want to offend no one, so I'm just gonna walk away from it. Please don't do that, right? Be aggressive. Be that person that's going to do this. I see this all the time, even in my profession, real estate, is that I see folks coming in and they have all the expectation in the world, right, to be successful. But then when the rubber meets the road, when push comes to shove, when they start feeling the heat of producing, right, they start to get timid. They say, well, I'm not a cold caller. I'm not a person that gets out there and does this. I don't make videos, they say. That's fine. We're going to realize that you're going to be successful or not by the things you're willing or not willing to do. In the same way as an investor, we're going to see if you're a successful investor if you're willing or not willing to write offers, right? If you're timid about writing an offer because I feel that, oh, they're going to get offended with this number. Or you know, like the property's right there, like it's for the taking. I tell you, I even done this with some investors before. I said, look, this is the magic number. You hit this number, they'll sell you the property. And because there's multiple bids, and this multiple bid situation, they gave me, right, privileged information. And I said, look, there's multiple offers. The offer you sent is not going to win. This is the number you have to hit to win. And if you know that number and you're limited, you're saying you have the limited mindset of, no, I can't make it work that way. Okay, that's fine. You can run your numbers, but at the same time, that's what it takes sometimes. Sometimes people do take that action. They get the property and then they figure out another way to, cut costs, either by rehab costs, other fees that you're taking off, even realtor fees, of course. But they take that off. And who knows, maybe in the span of 2 to 3 months, the ARV could possibly grow, as we know that real estate changes all the time. But yeah, of course, just take that into account. Again, real estate, if you're going to be an investor, don't be afraid to write offers. Just like a real estate agent like myself shouldn't be afraid to make calls. And I'm not, right? And you can see it here. Anyway, if you like this kind of content, make sure to like and subscribe. Thanks a lot for watching this one. And again, if you're looking for a deal, call the deal finder. I'll help you with that, all right? Have a good one.